Hello snowboarders of the internet. I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the new Wired Ark snowboard for 2025. This board features Wired's multi-camber, which is rocker in the tips, very small, and then camber throughout the board with a negative core profiling. That camber through the middle with that negative core profiling is going to provide you all the power, pop, snap, and drive, while that rocker in the tips is going to help with ease of entry as well as more optimal powder float. This board is available in 151, 154, 157, 160, and 163. I rode this board at Arapahoe Basin on a 12-inch powder day in the spring with colder temps. You had blower pow, heavy pow, crust underneath in spots, soft, smooth groomers. You had pockets of blue sky with gray, little bit of wind, just kind of weird conditions for that late in the season, and I used my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. Flex and stability. Some of you might be looking at this going, oh great, another stiffer, wider board. No, it's middle of the road at best, and that makes it very approachable with its flex. You have a sweet spot right where the camber meets the rocker in the tips, and then right dead center where the negative core profiling is. That flex in the center is the most abundant on the board, and that's what really helps you sit on your back foot and elevate the whole front of the board when you get into pow. It changes that dynamic so much that this thing just floats super, super well. Now, when it comes to the stability of this board, the width coupled with the camber profile and the core construction all work in conjunction. It's not so much that it's damp, it's just smooth. And what you get is, at speeds on groomers, you're gonna get a little flap, right? That slightly resonates underfoot. Now, 9 times out of 10, if you are bombing through just fresh pow and you hit something frozen underneath, this thing's gonna skip right over the top, it's not gonna buck you. And that one time where you are gonna get bucked, it's gonna telegraph that you're getting bucked. You're gonna know the second you impact it. This board just kinda cruises through everything. It doesn't cut, it just sort of cruises and does its own thing. So the big thing with this board is that it's camber dominant. And when you load it up and push back into that rocker in the tail, it kind of springs you forward and up at the same time. And while it's not the snappiest, it's just consistent. You don't have to worry whether you're popping on a groomer or you're in a foot of fresh snow. It's still gonna work. It's still gonna be able to get you up and do what you need it to do. All right, so we're about halfway through this review, I think. I don't know where I'm getting edited into, but I need you to go down and give it a thumbs up. After you do that, go over, subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications if you haven't already. But I wanna make sure you're getting those notifications because we got a ton of programming coming out for you. If you're gonna be lazy with this board, buttering on it is whatever. It really comes alive when you pop into it and press. And when you do a 180 and you press into the nose of this thing, you're gonna notice that one, it engages right where the rocker is and it lifts up. And then as you bring your back knee forward as you're leveraging it, it really center flexes that board and you get a deep butter on it. And it's got enough power in it that it'll let you snap back out. The same thing happens with the tail. You wanna go sideways, just pop into it and rest on that contact point with your weight outside and bring your back knee in. It flexes that board up and you can do a deep butter. If you know what you're doing, you're gonna have a field day with this thing. So you look at this board and you're like, oh, okay, it's camber dominant and it's wide. It's gonna be a little sluggish edge to edge because you have a size 10 boot. Nope, not at all. No, this board can carve. Yeah, no, this thing is fluid and smooth with a little bit of power. That edge to edge transmission is just rock solid. You don't have to worry about it. You want to get it on edge, it goes on edge, and then it lets you ankle steer and really drive it. Short, tight, quick carves are snappy and responsive. Medium, mellow carves are where it locks in and allows you to bring it up to speed and turn it into a deep, hard carve. And when you go to lay this over, you're not booting out. Nope. You are laying trenches. This thing is an absolute blast to rip a carve on. Rider in mind. The guy with a really big foot that wants a do-it-all board, or someone that wants a wider pow board. It's kind of a duality with this thing. You can choose which way you want to ride it. You could just use it as your powder, do everything board, or you can just ride it on a groomer and have it be your everything if you're a bigger guy with a bigger foot. Like what we're doing over here? Want to support us further? Swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. This board's unsinkable. Holy crap, is it unsinkable. I tried to sink this thing over and over again. This thing floats so well. This board absolutely blew my mind when I got on it. And anytime the nose would dip, with minimal effort of just flexing my back knee to the center of the board, that negative core profiling would just pull everything up and it would just stay on top of it. It slashed so well, and getting on a groomer, I could carve with it. The only downside that I can say about it was I wish the park had been open, because I would have loved to seen how this thing reacted to jibbing as well as hitting a jump. It was just amazing at everything I threw at it. This is truthfully a hidden gem, and Wired knocked it out of the park. Like, I was blown away with how awesome this deck was. Do not sleep on this. This thing is great. Comparable boards: the Libtech Skunk Ape Camber, the Amplid Morning Glory, the Rome Ravine. Binding recommendations: the Rome Katana, the Union Falcor, the Nitro Team Pro. This has been my review of the Wired Ark. If you're picking one up, why don't you go check out one of the reviews for the recommended bindings. That way you can just match it up perfectly and get out there and shred. And you're gonna shred on this thing.